This is generally one of my most viewed videos every single year. It's the prediction video. So, what will happen to property prices into 2025? In this video, we're going to review 2024 predictions, what actually happened, if the Irish property market is actually overvalued, and industry and market predictions for 2025, and of course, some of my predictions as well as some of my thoughts on the market too. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shane Fleming. I've worked in the real estate industry for nearly 20 years. I have a degree in property economics, and at the moment, I'm working for a startup called PropGen, which is on a mission to make the buying and selling process easier for everyone involved. And you can check out details about that in the description. This time last year, most people predicted a 0 to 4% increase in house prices in Ireland for 2024. At the end of 2023, I suggested in a video that prices for 2024 might actually reach double digits. And according to most reports out there, house prices in 2024 have increased by at least 10% or more. Last year, I believed the 0 to 4% growth predictions were far too conservative. I believed that there was a misinterpretation of a lot of the data on average prices being reported in 2023. And this led to many predictions being far too conservative in terms of price increases for 2024, as well as many people believing the market was actually cooling off. This was because the vast majority of homes sold in 2023 were landlords selling apartments or probate sales and properties that needed a lot of work. And when you looked at it from a demand side, there was a massive mismatch on this side, which led me to believe that the undersupply issue was far more significant than many people believed. Many people also fail to realize that the supply coming from landlords, which was making up 40 to 50% of the actual market being sold, would actually have to start to slow down or dry up in 2024, as there would be fewer landlords who'd be in a position to sell. These factors led me to believe that price increases would hit double digits in 2024, and they did. Many of you may have seen recent reports in the last few weeks indicating that house prices in Ireland were currently overvalued by approximately 10%. This report came from the Economic and Social Research Institute, the ESRI, highlighting that this overvaluation was driven by a number of factors such as population growth, interest rates, and construction levels as well. I was actually at the SESI annual conference in Croke Park. I actually got to speak on one of the panels there. But on the day, ESRI also presented their findings at the event. This happened to be a few weeks before the media picked up on this 10% overvalue headline. But what I picked up from that report and the presentation on that day, before the media picked up on it, was that prices were 30% overvalued in 2007 before the crash in 2008. The ESRI model is based on affordability, borrowing power, interest rates, construction levels, as well as population growth. So it does actually miss out on some key factors as well. The report also stated that despite this overvaluing of the market dynamics are different than what happened in 2007 before the financial crisis. Notably, household loans are growing at a much slower level, and rental yields in Dublin are above mortgage rates, suggesting that there is less speculation within the market as well. It is also important to note that while the ESRI reports of a potential overvaluation within the market, it also points out that there's no immediate indication that house prices will stop rising in the near future, and that house prices and the Irish economy will remain strong as there's wage growth and interest rates are falling, contributes to the likelihood of prices rising for houses into the future. So, what you can take from this ERSI report, while the headline is suggesting that property prices are overvalued by 10%, the key takeaway from this is that it's contradicting itself. It also is stating that prices are likely to continue to increase. While I was listening to the presentation at Croke Park, I thought one thing would have been interesting for the ESRI to look at would be to look at the increase of money supply within the Eurozone over the last 20 years that has increased by about 250%, devaluing the euro. So it'll be interesting to see how house prices actually compare to other assets like stocks and so on. So moving on, in terms of what predictions the industry is making for house prices for 2025, As of December 2024, several real estate agents and analysts and investors have been providing some forecasts in regards to house prices for 2025. Not many of them have come out with the percentages, but the Real Estate Alliance came out with a nationwide prediction of 6% rise for house prices in 2025. They're saying this is going to be driven by limited supply and increased competition within buyers. The Investopa real estate investment platform anticipates property prices in Ireland could increase by approximately 3 to 7% in 2025. And this is depending on factors that will be based on region and property type as well as market demographics. The SESI, the Chartered Surveyors of Ireland, came out with a forecast of 4.5% in a rise of property prices over the next 12 months. And this is based on a national survey of SESI members. The majority of predictions so far are suggesting that Irish prices will rise and there is expected growth in 2024. The rate of increase may vary on regional factors, housing supply, and economic conditions, but the majority are coming in and around 3 to 7%. All the normal economic factors are being considered here in terms of interest rates, inflation, employment rate, GDP, population growth, and they're all moving in a direction that generally will result in higher prices. So, what else should we consider in terms of the normal supply and demand curve for 2025? Will demand increase or decrease? How will supply be affected for 2025? So when you look at a normal supply and demand curve, you'll have your quantity over here, your price up here. Basically, you'll have your supply line going that way, your demand line going that way. So this is your supply line, this is your demand line, and this is your market norm, right? So let's say prices are at 400k over here, and the supply is 50,000 units a year come onto the market at that average price, right? Let's say demand shifts out this way because there is lower interest rates, or perhaps there's government schemes like the Help to Buy scheme. It pushes demand curve out. What happens here is prices go up, let's say 430 now, and supply goes up to 60,000 units coming onto the market every single year. That's a normal supply and demand curve. However, Ireland is a little bit different than that. That's not how Ireland works at the moment. So Ireland's supply and demand curve is a little bit different because it is harder to bring new supply onto the market for a number of different factors. Cost of construction, planning issues, and everything else that goes on with the property market at the moment. So you have your normal demand line here. So basically, the lower the price is, the more demand you will have for it. The higher the price is, the less demand in terms of quantity that you will have. But if that's our demand curve in Ireland, our supply curve is a little bit more vertical because it gets harder and harder to bring more and more quantity of properties onto the market. So we end up, let's say we're here at our market equilibrium, and we have, let's say we have 50,000 units coming onto the market, and we have a price again of 400,000. What happens, because our supply line is vertical, if issues like we have an increase in demand because of lower interest rates, we have higher prices, but the actual amount that is supplied is still not getting any better. And that's the same with other factors that are driving demand out this way. Realistically, what we need to do is bring that supply line down here. So that supply line is there. So as the price goes like this way, we get more and more quantity coming onto the market. But it is very hard for Ireland to drive that line that way. So because that is the case in Ireland, and because it is a supply line the way we have it, any increase in demand or issues with supply is going to have a greater impact on prices. Meaning if supply drops again in 2025 because there's less landlords selling, or there's less people who are able to move and trade up or down, Supply is likely going to decrease again. We have record levels or record low levels of supply coming onto the market at the moment. So therefore, it is likely that trend is going to continue. As I said, that curve, it's very hard to shift that curve because we're so vertical. So increasing supply is quite difficult at the moment. And assuming all other factors remain the same, it's likely that prices are going to increase far more than people are predicting in 2025. Factors that are likely going to change into the year is interest rates will likely drop again because the German economy is struggling and Europe will try push on some economic growth there, leading to lower interest rates, which will mean more affordable homes for Irish buyers. With the general election behind us, many landlords who feared a Sinn Féin government and a Sinn Féin housing policy may relax a little bit in terms of their plans to sell up now, and there will probably be less landlords selling in 2025 compared to previous years, as well as the pool of landlords who are actually selling is drying up. Construction rates are unlikely to increase in any dramatic way in 2025. Lower interest rates may help some developers out, but supply of new homes is generally going to be a major issue next year. Secondhand home sellers are likely to struggle to trade up and trade down, as I've already said, leading to less supply. So current supply levels, as I said, are at an all-time low, and it's very difficult to see where any new supply is coming from. With this in mind, I can see further price increases in 2025. The fact that there was at least a 10% increase in 2024 may push fear among some home buyers to get onto the ladder as quick as they possibly can for 2025 and therefore drive that price increase even further. And we may even hit double digits and may even hit somewhere around 11 or 12%. Assuming key economic factors remain the same in 2025, you can only see prices going one direction, and that's increasing. But we will have to wait and see what happens in the US in terms of how Trump taking office will impact Ireland and also the global economy. Hopefully you got something out of this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. Give the video a like. As always, thanks for watching and add your comments in terms of your predictions for 2025.